today you called Ted Cruz a liar on the debate stage.
Well, he does.
What is it that he said?
He does not tell the truth, and they make robocalls to people, and they say things about people that aren't true, and they come up with a lot of statements that aren't true. And
But isn't that just politics?
no, I don't think so. You have to be truthful, and Ted Cruz is not a truthful person. And frankly, he holds up the Bible, and I hold up the Bible as well as anybody. But he holds up the Bible, and then he lies. What he did to Ben Carson, what he did with the voter violation form in Iowa, as an example, where they wrote a form out that looked just like a government paper, and it says, "Go vote for Ted Cruz, otherwise you're going to be in trouble." I mean, there are a lot of lies and a lot of bad statements, and I see it happening now in South Carolina, where robocalls are being made saying things that are just untrue.
Now, you went into South Carolina, you pulled down an ad against Ted Cruz, you said you wanted to go positive here. Do you think that's possible to do in a state like South Carolina?
I guess I don't think it's South Carolina. I know the people of South Carolina, they're incredible. That has to do with Ted Cruz, not South Carolina. And frankly, I do want to be positive because nobody has a record like I do. I built an incredible company, employed over the years tens of thousands of people. Nobody knows better than I do about health care and all of these different things because, nobody on stage they probably haven't employed anybody. And I've employed tens of thousands of people over the years. But, politics is very interesting. You have to be truthful. And if somebody's not truthful, you have to call them out.
Now, everyone was watching very closely your exchange with Jeb Bush tonight. Why Jeb? He's a guy who continues to trail you in the polls in every state.
You're right. He's trailing in the polls. He's doing horribly. He spent $43 million in New Hampshire.
So why hit him?
I'll tell you why. Because he took $20 million of negative ads on me. And I tell people this, and I teach people this. When somebody hits you, you hit them back. He spent $20 million on negative ads on me. He doesn't have a chance. He's a total lightweight. But he spent $20 million on negative ads. So, yes, I'll hit him on occasion.
You know you're in a state with a big military population. You've campaigned here before. Tonight you said the Bushes lied about weapons of mass destruction.
Well,
you referred to the...
Were there weapons of mass destruction? You know better than I do. The answer is no. And when Jeb said his brother protected us, the World Trade Center came down during his brother's reign. I mean, are people forgetting that?
But there's still a lot of affection for the Bushes in South Carolina.
I like the Bushes also. I mean, I think it's fine. I think the Bushes are fine. But he can't lie about his brother's record. And if you look at the last 3 months, it was a catastrophic failure. We had a catastrophic failure. That was during his term. He gave us Obama because Abraham Lincoln couldn't have beaten Obama at that time or anybody else that was on the Democrat side. So, look, everybody works, everybody tries, but the World Trade Center came down. A lot of bad things happened. So Jeb can't say that didn't happen. And by the way, there were no weapons of mass destruction. We went into Iraq, destabilized the Middle East. We spent trillions and trillions of dollars. We should be rebuilding our country also. Now we have to go and get ISIS. Nobody's going to be tougher or better with the military than me. I'll build it bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and nobody's going to mess with us. But you have to use it properly if you're going to use it at all.
I want to talk for a second about the Supreme Court because, of course, Justice Antonin Scalia passed today. Who would you nominate? What do you look at as a good model of a Supreme Court justice under a President Trump?
I think Dianne Sykes is excellent. I think there are really 3 or 4, but I think Dianne Sykes from Wisconsin has a great record and I think would be very good. But honestly, you want to take a look at a large group of people and you want to nominate somebody. Justice Scalia was a fantastic man. You really want that person to be as close to him as possible.
You've mentioned your sister before. Is that still on the short list for you?
No, we have a little conflict of interest there. She's a tremendous person and one of the really brilliant justices. Thank you very much.